twofold. One, when it comes to the president himself and his agenda, fighting back on social media, fighting back in the media, these liberal lefts that are trying to spin these lies, making sure that the truth is getting out there and you were able to push back on them. And we've already learned, I'm kind of a fighter. I'm not afraid of backing down on a fight. So I have no problem going up against some of the Carl Bernsteins of the world and the others who think that they are the only people who should listen to them. But it's also twofold. It's also making sure, especially going into the 2018 election, that we put fighters in Congress as well. President Trump can say America first all he wants, but if you have inaction, if you have the stalemate continue in Congress like what we've seen, then it's not going to do any good. And the backlash is going to be on the president, unfortunately, rather than on Congress, which is where it should land right now. I am one of those, and maybe it's not the best team spirit attitude, but I don't think any members of Congress should go on summer break or go home until they give us a budget that is acceptable, that we can have the president sign, until they give us the Affordable Care Act that is acceptable and the president can sign. I don't think we need to have any of them. I wouldn't be able to take a vacation. Would you? Would your boss let you off if you had not done your job? Oh, and by the way, you're making $180,000 a year. Do you think he'd be thrilled to let you take your 2 weeks off for vacation?
I believe they would call that malpractice.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, Congress needs to have a different standard of living. And so I think it's going to continue to support candidates like we saw our body slamming congressional candidate in Montana, putting money into there, making sure that we're out there campaigning for them and others as we gear up for the 2018 elections. And here is the big falsehood that's going to be happening. If they're going to stay down ballot, and then we heard it in the 2016 election, down ballot candidates are going to be in trouble because of President Trump and his agenda. I am sorry. If you are a candidate and you are in trouble, if you have an R by your name, it's not because of President Trump. It's because of your own voting record. And so you need to check it. You need to make sure it's exactly what the people in your district are wanting, because it's obvious we can turn out people to the polls. The question is, are those people going to like how you've been voting? And that's the question that these candidates need to be asking themselves.
Absolutely. And if they don't get on board with the president's agenda of job growth and putting power back into the people, I don't think that they're going to find their seat is that safe, regardless of their party label.
Absolutely. And I would like to hold all, and granted, President Obama did this Paris Accord, and this is on the top of a lot of people's minds right now. Yep. He did it via a version of executive order. But I have to ask, $1 billion of taxpayer dollars were allowed to be put into this. Meanwhile, you've got zero out of China, zero out of India, zero out of most countries. How can a president have such power that he can put $1 billion into a foreign entity, into a foreign concept, and not have any version of? And Congress has no control over that. I thought we had checks and balances.
And the Senate didn't even vote on it. The Senate didn't even vote.
Exactly.
It's absolutely crazy. I totally agree. I think part of the thing that we have to address, Scotty, and maybe you can pass this on to your people, is that there's a culture in Congress in general of punting to the president. There has been this erosion of power in the legislature because there was such a centrally controlling executive with President Obama that it was they basically abdicated their power to the president. And the whole concept of our government is to not have it that way. We need members of Congress to be members of Congress and to actually take a stand on things. And I hope you're holding their feet to the fire. And I know you will be. So just throw that out there for you.
Thank you, and you're absolutely right on that one, and that's the whole point of this. By the way, demonize Trump, the president, in the White House for the second round of the ACA and all of these things going on. The president. Here's how this is supposed to work. Our founding fathers set it up. The president takes the campaign promises that he made to the American people and what they elected him, obviously, to do, and sends those wishes on to Congress. Congressmen is supposed to come up with the bills themselves. They're supposed to work it out, and then they send it back to the president, and then he has the choice if that bill is reflective of what he sent them or not, whether he signs it. But it should not be this whole thing that when Congress doesn't do its job, that the president is blamed on. And where we lost that, you very rarely ever see it with the Democrats, but you definitely see it on our side. It's like, let's pass the blame. No, let's just do our jobs, and let's stay within our own boxes and do exactly how it was set up to be. But that's going to be called the American people have to hold the Congress and the president accountable to stay within their own fence line.
But it's also the beauty of the right, what you point out. The left is a monolith. everyone speaks with one voice. You know, it's the Borg. Resistance is futile and all that. You have to consensus build on the right because there is independence of thought and independent ideas. And you need a strong leadership in Congress that will be able to build coalitions within the party. Because we've never been a single flavor in the conservative movement. There are many different types. And, you know, you got your job cut out for you. I don't want to keep you, like I said, because we have lives that we have to get back to, and I don't want to keep you from yours. Go to the Committee to Defend the President, www.committeetodefendthepresident.com. Check them out. Donate what you can. And I'm sure that the committee is going to be looking for candidates that they're going to be supporting. So let your voice be known there. And, of course, my friend Scottie Hughes, follow her on Twitter at Scottie N. Hughes, and check out her website, which, by the way, I love. ScottieNellHughes.com. Buy her book. If you haven't bought her book already, I'm ashamed of you, and you shouldn't listen to my show. But if you have, I'm going to give you one last chance. Go pick up Roar, The New Conservative Woman Speaks Out. It's fantastic. I love it. You still have to sign it for me, and I'm mad at you about that. But we'll get to that another time. And listen, you know me. I appreciate everything that you're doing. You're absolutely fantastic. You've always been a good friend, especially coming on this little ditty of a show that I have. And keep doing what you're doing. And I love you, babe. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you for having me. And it's far from a little ditty. In fact, I believe it shows like yours is the reason why we have a president in the White House right now who is so much by the people and of the people. Thank you for all you do.
I am so clipping that and using it for something else. Thanks so much, Scottie. Take care.
Thank you.
And that was Scottie Hughes, ladies and gentlemen. Always love having her on the show. You know, one of the things I love about doing the show is we always like to have as much fun as possible. And we really haven't been doing that lately. I mean, listen, I know we've done the Maxine Waters thing, and it's been pretty cool. But, listen, this latest stuff from Hillary Clinton about her excuses tour, I guess you want to call it, has really brought out a lot of creativity in a lot of people. And I want to share some of it. The first one I want to share is a video I found on the YouTubes. It was an amazing compilation, I should say collaboration more like, of many different talented people. I want you to listen to it, and then I'm going to give credit to everybody. This is called Hillary Clinton Sings My Favorite Excuses.
Top secret data purloined by a gremlin. Misdeeds exposed with some help from the Kremlin. WikiLeaks published the emails we tossed. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Draft beer and vino and vodka martini all disappear like I'm freaking Houdini. It's not a secret, I like to get sauced. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Girls in blue dresses with DNA traces. Bill has me threaten the girls he embraces. With my assistance, he's free to accost. These are a few of the reasons I lost. When I'm lying, testifying, I concoct a tale. I look for excuses and others to blame, and then I won't go to jail. Tantrums and breakdowns and fake tears with tissues, obvious signs of some medical issues, fainting and stumbling and eyes that go crossed. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Because of my gender, I think I've been slighted. There's a good chance that I may be indicted. Image as cold as a New England frost. These are a few of the reasons I lost. Currency laundered through Clinton Foundation. Influence peddling that threatens our nation. All the offenses I've seemed to amass. These are the reasons that Trump kicked my ass. When I'm lying, testifying, I concoct a tale. I look for excuses and others to blame, but I still may go to jail.
I told you it was pretty good. All the credit for My Favorite Excuses goes to the team that put it together. Written by Tony Olson, the vocals by the lovely and talented Allison Thompson, produced and edited for YouTube by Tim Collier. You'll find it on Tim Collier's page on YouTube. It's already gotten close to 150,000 views. Subscribe and check out more fun stuff from this crew. I'm definitely going to be checking them out a lot more often. But the creativity does not stop there. One of our favorite people that we like to... favorite people? Favorite organization, I guess, that we like to showcase, I guess. Some people call it shamelessly stealing. I call it showcasing with credit, is the Washington Free Beacon, and they don't disappoint with their rendition of Hillary Clinton, in her own words, giving close to 40 different excuses for the reason why she lost, except for the actual reasons. Here, listen to this one.
I never said I was a perfect candidate, and I certainly have never said I ran perfect campaigns, but I don't know who is or did. And at some point, it sort of bleeds over into misogyny. And let's just be honest, people who have Putin wants to bring us down, and he is an old KGB agent. If you look at Facebook, the vast majority of the news items posted were fake. They were connected to, as we now know, the 1,000 Russian agents who were involved in delivering those messages. They were connected to the bots that are just out of control. We see now this new information about Trump's Twitter account being populated by millions of bots. Bannon, who'd been running the Breitbart operation, supplying a lot of the untrue, false stories. What we saw was, in this election particularly, and I appreciate what Walt said, the first time that you had the tech revolution really weaponized politically. I inherit nothing from the Democratic Party.
What do you mean nothing?
I mean, it was bankrupt. It was on the verge of insolvency. Its data was mediocre to poor, non-existent, wrong. The group running this was the GRU, which is the military intelligence arm of the Russian military, and they have a very sophisticated cyber operation. In bed with WikiLeaks, in bed with Guccifer, in bed with DC Leaks. They were conveying this weaponized information and the content of it. And they were running, there's all these stories about, guys over in Macedonia who are running these fake news sites. And I also think I was the victim of a very broad assumption I was going to win. The biggest Google searches were not for Comey because that information was just lying out there. It was for WikiLeaks. We know that the Google searches for this stuff were particularly high in places in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. They began to have some of their allies within the internet world, like InfoWars, take out pieces and began to say the most outrageous, outlandish, absurd lies you can imagine. Your Twitter account is saying, oh my gosh, Hillary Clinton is running a child trafficking operation in Washington with John Podesta. You had Citizens United come to its full fruition. So unaccountable money flowing in against me, against other Democrats. You had effective suppression of votes. Wisconsin, under the current governor, Scott Walker, has been one of the leaders in voter suppression. I'd taken a tremendous hit after the Comey letter. He dumps that on me on October 28th, and I immediately start falling. The mainstream media covered that, as I say, like Pearl Harbor, front pages everywhere, huge type, etc. My momentum, particularly among women in the suburbs, stopped and dropped. Some people stayed home. We're getting more information about all of the contacts between Trump campaign officials and Trump associates with Russians before, during, and after the election. He does have a visceral grasp of America's political underbelly. He really understands how to inflame people, how to motivate them, how to bond with them over whatever their grievance is. Whatever resentment or point of anger that you may have, if he can get into it, whether it's race or xenophobia or Islamophobia, whatever it is. Look, I take responsibility for every decision I made, but that's not why I lost.